What's this knob do? No one had to properly atone for anything back then.
Whoa, what is up, everybody? Opti here. This is the fourth installment of Hammer the Effin' Basics. So what we're going to be going over here today is the outside of our map that we have been building for the past 4 episodes here. So we got just a room. Now I know it sounds like a lot for 4 episodes, but this is literally for the basic beginner. This is not for someone that's advanced at Hammer. This is not for someone that is, is very good at Hammer. This is for someone that has never started Hammer or is super duper basic at it. So, with that being said, if you are good at Hammer, please don't leave any negative comments here. I'm just trying to help out people here. But let's continue with level 4. Or, level 4. Episode 4. The outside and Skybox stuff is what we're going to be doing here. So for those of you that don't know what a Skybox is a Skybox is the outside. So when you're inside of a game, it's what makes the world look three-dimensional in the sky instead of like a cube, like it would typically look. It makes it look real and open and vast and three-dimensional. So that's exactly what we're going to be adding here today. So, like I said, since this is our room, we're going to be focusing on the, that's right, the tools. So the tools that we're going to be using today are our select tool, of course, our camera tool, possibly the entity tool for the lighting, block tool, obviously, our texture toggle tool, our texture apply tool, and our clipping tool. We gonna get into the clipping tool. So, what we're first going to do is we're going to find one of the walls here. Doesn't really matter which one. Looks like it's the south wall for me here. I'm going to go over to my texture browser. Browse. I'm going to select no draw, even though I just selected it. Select no draw. Now with this, I'm just going to make a doorway here. To make a doorway, I mean, it's all up to you, obviously. Doorways are up to you. You are the architect. You are the architect. So let that be up to you. I do mine relatively like this, about 6496. It's roughly about the size of a person. I mean, like, it is just, like literally, roughly the size of a person. Now, you can go into the dev category, into the textures, and you can actually find out how big the door is and what size you actually need it to be. I'm going to go with 80 by 32, just in case. So, this is one of the uses of the clip tool. Now that we have this block here, I'm going to select this wall again and apply the no draw texture. We're going to select our clipping tool, or Shift X, and you can take the clipping tool and drag and drop it here. So as you notice, there's a red side and a white side. The red side is the side that will be deleted. The white side is the side that will be kept. Now, if you want to keep both sides, you can click the clipping tool again, and then again, and it's going to keep both sides. It's just going to make an even cut there. So, with that done, we're going to kind of cut out our doorway here, and I'll show you an easier way to do the doorway as well. This is just the first way. So we'll do the cut, slice it, hit enter, but bam, we got that first one. Then we're going to select this bottom portion of the wall. Make sure we go into our view that we can see the door here. And we're just going to slice it on either side of the door. And then we can go through and delete both of these. Ba-bam. Then we have a doorway. Now, the easier way to do this, let me do the Control Z on all of this, is that block that we made there to represent the doorway. Let me no draw this again. The block that we made to represent the doorway here. Damn it, select the fucking block. You can select that block here, and then hit Control, Shift, and C, and it will automatically cut this block. Now this is very useful in some cases. This is called carving. Control, Shift, C. It's called carving, and it'll make that carve that we had already made manually. Now, in some cases, it is not as effective as it would be to do it manually yourself. However, in this case, we'll go ahead and do that because it also auto-groups the objects as well. To ungroup the objects, just select them and hit Control U. And then now we have 3 individual objects. We'll go back over to our texture tool, select that dev, go to our texture toggle tool, and right-click all of those. Alright, now we're going to do the same to the outside. We'll just right-click everything on the outside here with this orange. I'm not really too worried about it being all nice and having trim and everything else. We can go into trim and all that other stuff later. Trim just makes shit lag though, honestly. Alright, so now that we've covered everything else on the outside, we're just going to cover this doorway here. I just like to have some things look really nice. Bam. So this is still going to be our ground area. So I'm just going to stretch this out. At first we had it at 512 by 512. Now we're going to take it up to 1024 by 1024. Where's it at? Alright. So now that we've got it up to 1024 by 1024, we've got that. We're going to go ahead and build some walls around this here as well. So we'll do that real quick. We'll select the node draw tool, and I'll build on the outside here. Alright, and now that we've got that selected, we're going to go ahead and start making a little bit of detail cuts here. Kind of give us like a wall with some sky peeking over it. So I'll just grab all of these walls. I'll hit the select tool, grab one wall, and hold control. And while you're holding control, you can go around and select different objects here to multiply select things. Once we've got those selected here, I'm going to go back into my cut tool, Shift X. I'm going to minimize my grid down to 16 units by pressing the left bracket button. And I'm just going to, where do I want to cut it at? I'll cut it just a little bit under the house here. Ba-bam. Alright, now that I've got that cut, as you can see, I've got 2 separate pieces here on every single side. So what I'll do is I'll grab all of those, I'll group them together, selected them all, Control G to group together. Then we'll go into our texture browser here. This is where we're going to get into the Skybox here. So to apply a Skybox texture, we're going to type in Tools. And then in Tools, we'll scroll. Oh, I guess I don't have to scroll down right now, but typically you have to scroll down until you find Skybox. With that selected, we're going to right-click the top with our toggle selector tool, or our toggle texture selector. So fucking difficult to say. I don't know why I have such an issue saying it. But we'll apply that to the ceiling, and then that portion of the wall that we cut up top. For these bottom portions, we're just going to go ahead and apply the good old Dev Texture Orange. So grab that bad boy. We'll right-click these. You don't have to right-click. You can actually go into Mode and then do Apply Texture, or Apply Texture and Values if you have any specific values that you want it applied to all 4 walls. But there we have it. This is going to be our inside and outside area. So if I render this in game, we're going to see an inside and an outside block. However, since we have this light in the level, the Skybox is actually not going to generate an artificial light. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind, is even though that there's a Skybox here, if you have any artificial lights, or if you have any light entities in your map, you do need to create an additional entity called the light environment entity. So we'll go ahead and place an entity in the map here. I did mine in the 2-dimensional modes. We'll go up. We'll double-click that bad boy. Double-click. And we're going to type in light underscore env, E-N-V. It should come up to the pop-down light environment if you have Smart Edit on. And bam, little sun with a smiley face, almost like the Teletubbies cat. So we've got pitch, yaw, roll. The pitch, this is going to be, it says it right here, the downward pitch of the light from the sun. 0 is horizontal, -90 is straight down. So we're going to do -75. If you go into the pitch, yaw, roll here, this one, it doesn't really matter for any of the zeros. You can have any of those numbers at whatever you like. I like to do the point at, so that way it gives you an accurate representation of where your light's going to be coming from and where it's going to be pointing to. Brightness is going to be the same exact thing as a light that we explained previously. We've got brightness. We can change it to red, pink, yellow, white, whatever. We'll just do cancel. Ambient, this is going to be the color of the shadows that are cast from the sun. So let's say that you have a red sun, like a very red sun, and you want to have red shadows for some fucking reason. You can have that. The brightness HDR, brightness scale HDR, ambient scale HDR, I would all say leave at the numbers that they are no matter what. You don't really want to mess with those. The sun spread angle is the angular extent of the sun that's casting soft shadows, so the higher numbers are more diffused. The higher numbers that you have, the better your shadows are going to look in game. However, that does take up a heck of a lot more processing, so do keep that in mind. But a good number to start at is 5, like the game says. It's very low rendering, and it does make your shadows look relatively smooth. So we're going to render this in game, and then we will cut on over to the next episode of this, which is adding in some of the control points and making your control points work inside of Day of Defeat source here. So stick on through. We're going to go to the render of the game. I can't fucking rhyme that part. Okay, yeah, we're just going to do the render real quick. By the way, if you want to change your Skybox texture, go into Map Properties. You'll see Skybox texture name. Go ahead and click Browse. Type in Skybox. Oh, I guess, or Skybox apparently works. And this is your whole Skybox stuff. So to use any of these textures, let's say that I don't want the original Skybox. I want this nice, clean looking Skybox. Right here it says Skybox /sky_day01_08 front, or FT. The only thing that we need to take from this is the sky_day_01_08. That's the only thing that we need from that. And I'll explain that right now. How this one says 0101. All I have to do is change that last part to a 08. And that's going to give us that super clean looking sky. So we're going to go ahead and render that real quick. And I'll have videos on all of these things that I'm going over. I'll have extensive videos on those, so that way once you guys get a hang of it, you can have a little bit more advanced tutorial on those. And a little bit more advanced explanation on what's going on in the settings in those entities. Alright, come on. And, as you can see, we've got that doorway. We've got our inside light. It is so fucking laggy on this fucking screen. I don't know why. It's all the fucking processes. But anyway, so, we've got the inside light. Everything looks good in here. Now, if we go outside, as you can see, that Skybox texture that I was looking at there, the fucking purple sky, like purple waves of grain, and this is what I'm thinking of, not corn or whatever the hell they're talking about in the song. This is what I'm thinking of, purple waves of grain. Anyway, as you can see, we've got the map right here cut just barely under where it's supposed to be. And the Skybox looks great. See, it looks very three-dimensional, even though these walls end right here. These walls are right here. So, this is what we have so far in-game. Go ahead and stay tuned for us. Stay tuned with us for the next episode of Hammer's Effin' Basics from Opti. This one is a little bit long. I'm sorry about that there. But the next one will not be as long as this one was. Like, subscribe, drop a comment below. We'll even give you a shout out. Hell, thank you very much. Prime out.